So one of my overarching arguments is that in the process of developing Egypt as a modern nation state, there were attempts to reshape traditional Arabic music so as to reflect and shape the emotional and spiritual state of Egyptian people, as well as to promote national sentiment and positive values. So a long sentence, but I promise I'm going to break all of this down. The pursuit of this musical modernization occurred in the context of a change in the social class, professional status, and societal perception of musicians. Upper-class music reformers, many of whom were amateur instrumentalists, so like full-time job as doctors or engineers, but also taking up Arabic music as amateurs. Many of these reformers petitioned for governmental support to assist in the development and modernization of Arabic music. Reformers proposed many means of achieving this development, and one of the primary suggestions was through changing the instrumentation of ensembles. These reformers felt that certain musical instruments carry specific affects and emotions. So in order to reflect the contemporary spirit of the nation and to expand the emotional palette of Arabic music as well as inspire national sentiment, it was necessary to adopt new instruments. Those in favor of adopting new musical instruments in the traditional ensemble, the taht, viewed instruments as tools that could be added to the expressive toolkit and thus did not threaten to alter the substance of Arabic music, but would rather help to preserve and advance the tradition. So we can think of instrument in this sense as a synonym of tool or device, right? Instrument. So as opposed to changing the content and substance of the music, the adoption of new tools seemed relatively innocuous. In the early 1930s, the musician and reformer Muhammad Fathi stated that musical instruments can be compared to a typewriter, which, like a musical instrument, is a writing instrument. He argued that the meaning and emotional intent behind words is not lost when we write with a typewriter, even though it's a modern instrument, not a traditional one, and not from the region. So in other words, you might lose some of the beauty of like calligraphy or of the letters themselves, but the actual meaning of the words is still there, the substance. Similarly, a musical instrument could be thought of as a device that doesn't necessarily change the meaning or emotion of the music, just the manner of delivery or mediation. This perspective was not unanimous, however. Some thought of musical instruments as much more than mere tools, that they themselves have characteristics that affect the music in the process of mediation. I'll note here that many of the instrumentalists I've spoken with today hold this second perspective, although many also take a moderate stance. I had the incredible opportunity to communicate with Omar Khairot, and he told me all musical instruments can express any dramatic situation, but stringed instruments, like the violin family, the oud, they're the most expressive in all situations, and the most used in soundtracks or music composition in general. So Omar Khairot feels that while any musical instrument can mediate any expression, certain instruments are more predisposed and successful in doing so. So in summary, I'm trying to argue that the addition of new musical instruments had to do with a desire to expand the expressive capabilities of Arabic music, to raise the socio-cultural status of music and musicians, and to pursue a musical modernity and development, often within a nationalist framework. This is a lot, and time is limited, but I want to walk you through my 5 planned chapters for my dissertation. And then in the second half of the presentation, I'll talk about some more specific topics in preparation for the concert.